Caller, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and or question?
What's up, Ben? It's John from Louisiana.
My dude from Louisiana, man. How those roads treating you out there?
That's
a whole nother question, huh?
We'll talk about it's a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
But I kind of wanted to go back to something that y'all were talking about just a minute ago in the NOAA. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, that's correct. I think.
Yes, you are. That's right.
About the apathy of voters and the intellectual apathy. I even said in the chat room about people not knowing anything or doing any research or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is how the establishment preserves itself. It counts on that. It's a major cog in that. They put out a narrative and people just easily subscribe to it because I guess it caters to them in some kind of way, and it becomes their thought. It becomes their bevy of knowledge or whatever that they make decisions from. This is the biggest hurdle. You look at the right, and you'll say, well, a lot of us look at the right and say it's a bigger problem over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that anymore. I believe it's just as big a problem here. There's no other way to explain it. What's going on it's just as bigger problem, and I don't think we're honest enough about it. That's all I wanted to say. I have nothing else. Great show, though.
Hey, man, appreciate that. I agree. I know it sounded like you had something on that one. I don't know. Do you have anything to say on that one?
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I wasn't sure if I was muted. I was like, am I muted? But no. Like, I absolutely agree. Like, we always, well, we're better than them, or we're this, or at least we're not them. Like, that is not a really good, the way the Republican Party has become, that's not a very good standard of how we ought to be. That's not very inspiring. I mean, even with that as the calling, like, we just can't let them get in office. Okay. I mean, things have been bad, things have been bad enough. Like, what do you mean we can't let them get in office? Like, we had 2 years of Democrat-controlled everything and didn't really get much done at all. So, I agree.
We're better than them unless
You're back,
we have
Solomon.
to release transcripts. Then we're not better than them. We actually have to wait for every other one of them to release them first, and then maybe we'll release our transcripts.
I think that's a Clinton. I think that's a Clinton thing too. Yes, I think that's
a leader thing to do.
I think that's a Clinton thing too, because I just harken back again to the welfare reform thing since that came up today in the news. The narrative is always, Newt Gingrich and the mean Republicans made Bill Clinton do this, they made him adopt stuff. No. like a lot of some of this stuff was Democratic-led efforts. They came in with their neoliberalism, their centric, viewpoints and stuff, and did what they did. Maybe they weren't as extreme as Newt and other people wanted, but I mean, to act like the Speaker of the House put a gun to your head and made you do something, like, I'm sorry, were you not the leader of the free world supposedly? Like, it's just ludicrous. And she does the same thing now, and Solomon's exactly right about the transcripts. Like last night, well, everyone's not being held to the same standard. Who is everyone? The GOP? I mean, their debates, have you watched one of their debates? It's a freak show. So they're not on the same level, and we should not be saying that we have to hold everyone to the same level when there's only 2 of you and only one of you on our side isn't playing ball. It's just ridiculous.
Remember their argument back in the winter and fall about DOMA? How they said DOMA was to protect. If we didn't pass DOMA, something worse would have happened. That was their defense.
Right, exactly. And it's just like, and people buy this stuff. It's like, this is the dumbing down of America. Like, seriously. Like, people are like, that makes sense. Well, that makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. And it's really okay to call it out and say, no, that doesn't make any sense. Try harder.
The Human Rights Campaign did not endorse until they dropped that ridiculous notion, because even them were like, no, we're not jumping in this.
I mean, but that's another issue, right? We have these supposed, these supposed organizations that are committed to all these great liberal values and stuff, and they endorse a candidate that has some very interesting opinions across her history. There are some statements made in relation to choice Roe v. Wade and what Hillary Clinton would be willing to negotiate on in terms of the GOP and even like a constitutional amendment limiting, you know, the purview of Roe v. Wade and stuff. You know, there are all types of things, you know, out there, and it's just like that's not very. I mean, like who talks about how what liberal, supposedly liberal progressive candidates talking about how they need a compromise with conservative Republicans on choice or DOMA. I mean, like who does that? Like I mean, people. We have to ask questions. We can't just say, oh, well, you know, we really like them and they know their way around things and somebody has to leave. No. Somebody has to leave is how we end up with George Bush and two never-ending wars, like, and trillions of dollars in debt. Like, seriously.
Interesting thing, though, Noah, it's funny you mentioned that. It was Andrea for Obama on Twitter today who pointed out there's a lot of African Americans who are so pro-Clinton because of positions that the Clintons had given historically. But if that's really your justification, it's funny you mentioned George W. Bush. George W. Bush actually put more African Americans in the highest than any elected.
Which is wild.
Right, which is wild.
Which is so wild.
If your justification for supporting Clinton is that you think that she's going to do something, put black people in positions, and that Bill Clinton put, you know, what's his name? He died in the plane crash. Ron Brown. He put Ron Brown as a secretary of it's like Jeopardy. I can't even think. The Secretary of Labor. I think I got that wrong. Secretary of Agriculture. They were so impressed by him appointing. George W. Bush put Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice and a litany of other people, African Americans, in prominent positions. So you might as well go support Bush if that's your primary justification. That doesn't make sense.
Blacks for Jeb. Hashtag Blacks for Jeb. It's too late.
Well, and you know, and Jeb and poor Jeb. I feel so bad for Jeb because you know what, Jeb had he not been trying to pander to that extremist on the right, he could have had the Latino vote locked up because he just all he got to do is parade his little wife and his kid and his son and stuff out there. Like he would have had it locked up or whatever, but no, he was too busy trying to out Cruz and the rest of them, and it's like, dude, that wasn't you. But we
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we have an issue. We have a cultural issue. We need to shift our cultural politics. Like the Clintons came in and shifted our politics on the Democratic side to a certain, you know, they were trying to be center right or whatever. We definitely need to move it back, and we need to get more in line with other major countries. Like I know we had the caller from Atlanta earlier. Hey, if you're in a chat room and you're in Atlanta, you know, hit me up because we got a lot of stuff going on Super Tuesdays next week. So, but no, seriously, like when he was talking about he's being from the UK, I've talked to people from Canada, and when I'm talking about some of the issues we're discussing, right, with the ACA and being underinsured and not being able to afford their medications, they like have no clue for what I'm talking about, right? They're like, what do you mean? Like people are arguing about whether or not people can afford their medications. You know, here we do. Yeah, we know. There are people who go across the border to try and get medications for the simple fact that it's so expensive and cost prohibitive, you know, for so much here. So we have really serious issues, and people need to we need to wake up. I mean, I know like one of the questions I was asked earlier today on the subreddit, one of the questions I was asked today on our subreddit just this week, day 4, was workers' rights. Someone mentioned the question about, you know, in terms of the different trade regulations and stuff and how they've impacted jobs, affect union jobs and African American employment and stuff.